Why will your life change after reaching $100,000? For a long time, I thought getting rich was completely out of reach. And you, who are watching this, probably think the same. Am I right? It felt like everyone who had money had already started ahead. Fame, inheritance, connections, luck, anything except hard work. Until years ago, I heard a sentence that completely changed the way I see money. It didn't come from an internet guru selling courses and promising miracles. It came from someone who had actually built real wealth. He said, "Don't worry about getting rich. Worry about reaching your first 100,000. At a time, that made absolutely no sense to me. 100,000 doesn't seem like anything compared to a million, right? But today I understand, and you will too, why exactly 100,000 changed the entire game. Why is reaching the first $100,000 so hard? At the beginning, money moves very slowly, and that has a lot to do with the stage of life you are in. Early career, little financial knowledge, or maybe you haven't even started investing yet. At the beginning of your career, you are still learning. It's like when you start playing a new video game. It takes time to develop skill and actually getting good. And this scenario has become even harder for young people today. Good positions take longer to appear. Competition is higher, and the cost of living has skyrocketed. In the past, our parents bought houses for $60,000. Today, those same houses cost $400,000, sometimes even more. On the other hand, the internet has opened up a huge range of opportunities to generate extra income, sometimes that didn't exist before. Even so, most people are still stuck in saver's mindset, not an investor's mindset. Many people believe that saving money is just putting aside whatever is left at the end of the month. But saving without investing is an extremely slow path. If you save $200 per month without investing, you will need 500 months, more than 40 years, to reach your first $100,000. But now, if you invest the same $200 per month with an average return of 0.8% per month, that time drops to about 202 months, roughly 16 years. And the difference isn't working twice as hard, but changing your mindset. Investing needs to become a habit, not a one-time event. It's exactly like starting at the gym. At first, it hurts, you don't see results, you get tired, and you think it's not working. Investing is the same way. At the beginning, money grows very little, and it hurts even more because you have to give up buying things in the present so you can buy much more in the future. But the problem is that human beings are impatient. We prefer pleasure now over benefits later. Another reason is that small amounts of money barely multiply on their own. It is frustrating to save money and see it earn just a few cents. In the beginning, it's not the returns that make the difference, but the contributions and consistency. If you invest little, even with good returns, the result is still modest. Time goes by and the feeling is that you are going in circles, as if it's not leading anywhere. And that's exactly where most people give up. To give you an idea, if you invest $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund with an average annual return of 7%, after 5 years that amount would grow to about $14,000. In other hands, it would take 5 full years to earn just over $4,000. Now you are understanding why reaching the first 100,000 is so difficult. Compounding interest works, but by itself, it doesn't get you there. What really builds the first 100,000 is continuing to invest, even when it feels like it's not worth it. And that's where the magic starts to happen. That's why it's essential to find ways to generate more income. I speak from personal experience, because I went through the same situation. I had to look for extra sources of income while working long hours, and resisting the temptation to spend money on trips and designer clothes. It's not easy at all. But believe me, it works. Now here's what almost no one tells you. When you cross the 100,000 mark, the rule changes. Money starts working at a different rhythm. Not because you've become a financial genius, but because interest finally has enough mass to generate something meaningful. Each new block of growth takes less time than the previous one. Effort decreases, progress increases, motivation increases. What once seemed impossible starts to gain momentum and scale. It's like pushing a broken car. At the beginning, it's very heavy and very hard to move. But once it gains some speed, the effort required keeps decreasing. The mistake of those who never get there is trying to get rich by focusing on returns, profitability, miracle assets, unrealistic promises. But the early game isn't about that, it's about accumulation. Until you reach 100,000, the most important thing isn't where you invest, it's how much you can save from your income every month. And that requires very difficult decisions for most people. For me to reach my first $100,000, I had to work more, spend less, say no to immediate pleasures. It's not fun at all, but it works. And the earlier you start, the sooner the game changes. But why exactly do things change at $100,000? I will show you with a simple chart. If you manage to invest $10,000 per year with an average annual return of 7%, taking inflation into account or considering that the average annual return in the US is 11% and the inflation is 4%, resulting in a real return of 7%. Going from 0 to $100,000 will take on average 7 to 9 years. Now look how interesting this is. Did you notice that $100,000 is almost half of a million? Specifically, 100,000 represents 33.3% of the journey to the first million. And you are probably calling me crazy right now. And you are thinking, but half of 1 million is 500,000. That's because you are not thinking like an investor. After reaching $100,000, in 5 more years, you'll reach $200,000. So much faster than the first 100,000, right? So let's continue. Maintaining consistency in investing, going from 200,000 to 300,000 will take about 3.8 years. From 300 to 400,000 takes 3 years. And from 400,000 to 500,000 takes just 2.5 years. Now you can see how the time keeps shrinking. Notice how the chart starts to accelerate after just the first $100,000. That's why 100,000 represents almost half of the journey to the first million. And now imagine if you can invest more and reduce the time it takes to reach the first $1,000 by a few years. Becoming wealthy becomes almost inevitable, but you won't reach 100k if you don't know how to organize your salary. So for that, click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.